So I am grateful that you're all here. Really, I'm just having these sessions to get the word out about EPT. EPT stands for Emotional Polarity Technique. It is a killer modality. Maybe I shouldn't use the word killer, but it's an awesome modality that I've been working with since 2015. It has helped me heal after an abusive relationship. It helped me heal 17 years of cystic acne, depression, anxiety, grief, so many things. But what I think personally more deeply, it's a method that really helps me to come into alignment with my true self. So whenever I'm feeling lost or off center, or just like can't seem to like pull it together, it's something I turn to that just like brings me back like that. And I love offering it to others. I've been in practice with my practice since 2018, and I'm just super happy to be here today sharing it with you and seeing some of your faces that I haven't seen in so long. Before we dive in, I thought we could just have a moment to just sort of like connect in. Today is a day that can be a little polarizing for folks. I honestly woke up and forgot it was Valentine's Day. So however this lands for you, know that it's all welcome here. And yeah, my husband and I were like, we'll just like exchange nice words later today with each other. And he made me coffee. So that feels like Valentine's Day, check. But yeah, just take a moment to just kind of sink into your seat. And maybe if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, just take a couple of deep breaths. Really just like meeting up in this space today. We've got the next hour. I'll probably stay on a little bit longer for anyone that would like to. But just knowing that this time that we have here is time for us, and giving yourself a little gratitude for whatever reason brought you to this moment, whatever sparked your curiosity, your interest, your just little tug to show up today. And maybe bring to mind anything that you're feeling ready to let go of, especially if it's something that's been feeling a little difficult to let go of. And maybe anything that you've been beating yourself up for, anything you think you could forgive yourself for, or maybe know that one day you could have forgiveness for, whether it's yourself or towards somebody else or a situation. You know, I really believe that the energy of forgiveness is this kind of takes a quantum leap to step into that space. And it's sort of outside of the rational mind, just like the energy of love is something that, yes, we cultivate within and we share, but it's also this force that is outside of us. And one of my teachers has said before that forgiveness is love in motion. And on this day of, sharing and spreading love, may we be open. Good. And yeah, when you feel ready, you can come back to our space. Hopefully I was feeling really high energy, so hopefully this has brought it down a little bit. Anyone that was feeling affected by me. And I would love to hear if anyone wants to, participate. I was going to stream this live into the Facebook group, but I don't really feel like connecting that right now, so we're not going to. But yeah, if anyone would like to be a volunteer, we will just dive in. You can drop your name in the chat or raise your hand. We have a small group. I'll just call you forward. And it's okay if you if you don't want to, I'm going to call on someone. Okay, Jimena, that's who I was going to call on because I knew you'd be okay with it. Great. So I'm going to pull you up here with this pin. All right, so y'all should be able to see both of us. Oh, and Emily, you raised your hand too. Cool. So if we have time, we'll hop in, we'll do a second one. And I love it. I love it. Okay. So Jimena is very familiar with EPT. We do sessions semi-regularly. She's a huge champion of this work. So really, really glad that you're here. And I love working with you. Thank you for being willing to share, and be vulnerable in front of a group of people and being recorded. I understand there's that's a real thing. So I don't want to act like it's not.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird thing to be like, yeah, let's do this highly intimate thing, like recorded and live in front of people. So I just want to honor that. Yeah. So yeah, what's coming up for you today? What do you want to work on?
Yeah, when you asked that question, I just had so many things come up. I'm like, oh my gosh. I would love to know what's resonating today, but I think we worked on intimate relationships last week. So it feels good to continue that this week. If that's something that's coming up or anything related to money and my limitations with it, is always welcome to work on. Yeah, and it's Valentine's Day, so I think, yeah.
When you say, oh yeah, it's Valentine's Day, so what are you saying underneath? What's underneath that?
No, just the idea that it's the theme of the day, love and relationships. So
yeah, so it feels appropriate.
Yeah.
All right, well, why don't we ground first and kind of set up some rapport with your system, and then I'll just ask your body where we'd like to go. So I'm just going to have you, setting myself up here, put your hands on either side of your head, feet on the ground or uncrossed. And we're going to take in 6 deep breaths in your nose and out your mouth. And those following along can do the same if you'd like. Let's go ahead and breathe. Good. And if we're tracking, we've got 3 more together. Good. And when you're ready, you can release your hands. That's just a way of really bringing left and right brain online, connecting you into your body. It allows me to step into your energy, and create a little rapport between the two of us. So I'm just going to have you say, my name is Jimena.
My name is Jimena.
My name is Beth.
My name is Beth.
Good. All right, what do we want to work on today? Body scan, no, intimate relation, money. All right, we're going to focus on money.
Nice.
So essentially just testing your body, what it is ready to clear. So kind of EPT is really about tapping into the subconscious, the wisdom of your subconscious body. So we have in our minds, how we need to do a step-by-step process of fixing ourselves or healing or whatever, which we know, or I think know on some level that, maybe we know what needs to be worked on, but our system holds kind of the path and the way forward. So I'm always leaning onto your body's wisdom to show us where we need to go. So I'm just going to have you bring to mind the money stuff. What specifically would you want to say about it? And you don't have to go deep. I know that we're not private here, so you can say as much or as little as you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, I think I would just like to believe in my ability to always have more than enough money for everything that I need and desire.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just testing to see if there's an emotional component to this, limiting beliefs around money. And yeah, we've got So then I'm just going to check your distress level. Your system is at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is there any elation? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So distress is the body's distress around this situation. Elation is the body's sense of feeling good in that distress loop. So usually that means there's like a secondary benefit to staying where you are, even though it's distressing for your system. So we could say it's like an addiction to being in distress around money. All right, stage of healing. 1, 2. You're in stage 2, which is anger. All right, go ahead and say, I'm okay to show up.
I'm okay to show up.
I'm okay to pay attention.
I'm okay to pay attention.
I'm okay to tell the truth.
I'm okay to tell the truth.
I'm okay to let go.
I'm okay to let go.
Good. Not paying attention, telling the truth, or letting go. So we will work to become congruent there, which I won't dive into that, but it gives me more information for the session. And there were 2 issues. So I'm going to bring up the first issue, just having your body open that up for us. All right, is this current? Yes. Is it a who? No, it's a what. So let me just get a little information on this issue. Money, cash, finances, job, current job. All right, where are we here? We are in the kidney, left kidney, fear, myth, dread, paralyzed will. See paralyzed will so much these days. All right, mine. Okay, so the first emotional package we have here is your paralyzed will with your current job. So feeling paralyzed around your will, meaning what you would like to do or carry forward or whatever with the current job. So when I say that, what comes to mind for you?
Honestly, I feel like my current job, which is just some clients for branding and content creation, I'm enjoying it, but I'm very aware that this is not the way I want to actually be making money. Maybe that's what it is. Like, I want to be making money through acting, and this is just like my survival job.
Yeah.
Does that resonate?
Yeah. So what I do is test the body to make sure we're on this right track. And we got a yes there. Making money through acting, but this is what I have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think a lot of people can resonate in general.
Yeah.
To survive. All right. So we live in the real world. Okay. Show me. All right. Is there an earlier time? Yeah, we need to go back earlier. So this life, yes. Conception of birth, birth to 1, 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Were we at 14 last week with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Interesting.
Paralyzed will. All right, let's see what this is about. Is this like the who? So the what? So another what? Money, possessions, yours, others, tangible, intangible, others, security, love, peace, respect, acceptance, space, time, others, time. And is this your paralyzed will? No. Well, is it a friend, family, original, parents, mom? So when you're 14, mom is feeling paralyzed will with other people's time. So when I say that she was struck, and we can just kind of talk it around because I know it's kind of a weird dynamic. And she felt like maybe she couldn't get other people's time, like this idea that she has a will of maybe needing other people's time, or something to do with like being around other people. So yeah, why don't we start with like what's going on when you're 14?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I know this is like the time, like we talked about last week, where my mom was just having so much trouble with my family. Like, it was like the family was breaking. Everyone was turning against her. So it might be related to my family. Because work-wise at that time, I don't know.
Yeah, what was
I'm
she
not
doing
really
for work?
sure. She's a producer, so she was still working in that, maybe having like a couple of projects a year or something. But I'm pretty sure that wasn't like enough at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we test that the family stuff doesn't test. So
So it was like more work related.
more work related. Yeah.
So maybe also around that time, I think she started to set boundaries in her work in the industry in Costa Rica, because it's like very fucked up how people work here. And um yeah, maybe that was, I think she started like a guild around that, like a producers guild or something.
Really? To
Yeah,
like help. And when you say set boundaries, what does that mean?
like demanding a certain amount of paid, like demanding a certain amount of paychecks or like salary for the amount of work, the hours she was working, and like not going less than that, because people were trying to pay way less for like way more
Got
work
it.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So like
Yeah.
valuing herself and like setting those boundaries in the industry, which didn't go very well, and now she doesn't work there like in this industry very much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, does that resonate?
Well, yeah. So that whole thing tests, I'm just trying to understand it a little bit more from my angle. So
Yeah,
almost like she was like sort of starting a union in this industry around protecting like
the
her
rights
time
of the
and other
workers.
people's, yeah, the rights of the workers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's testing.
Oh wow.
Um,
I honestly
yeah,
said that because I knew that happened, but I wasn't sure when that happened.
when
So
it was. Yeah.
yeah.
And that's what's interesting is oftentimes we'll like these little things will surface because we're in there, right? Like we've
Yeah.
like opened that space.
That's always so crazy. Like
I
whenever we do this
know.
work, you'll say like, what comes up? And something that I never thought about before comes up. And that is
I
the
know.
thing. It's pretty
I
crazy.
know. That's when I first started. I mean, when I first started this work, I remember, yeah, getting the like, why was your dad angry when you were 4? And like immediately something popped up and I'd be like, I don't know, maybe it was this. And it was just
Yeah.
like, yeah, we have intuition, you know, like, and
Yeah.
it's all here, you know, like our bodies are like recording what's going on.
Yeah. Exactly. The
Um,
memory.
yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So watching, so you at 14, watching your mom try and create boundaries around her time, but also other people's time. Like she's like doing this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just know from you personally, recently, you kind of did something similar with your clients, creating some
Yeah.
boundaries around your time,
Mm-hmm.
and not being paid like randomly and having like a minimum standard, you know, kind of creating a
Mm-hmm.
minimum standard. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I'm just thinking this through. Cool. All right, let's move mom's paralyzed will when you're 14. So we were in the left kidney instruction. Let me just see. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to have you put the back of your hand over your, was that left kidney? So like lower left back space, and the back of your other hand over your forehead. Good. And I just want you to sink in, bring to mind being 14 and witnessing your mom do this. Yeah, this like act of empowerment, but feeling this energy of being paralyzed, having paralyzed will around other people's time. Yeah. And when you're ready, let's go ahead and take 3 deep breaths in your nose and out your mouth. Good. You can release your hands when you feel ready. All right, Jimmy Strong, Jimmy Weak. So we have some more emotions here at this 14-year-old time. I feel like I'm seeing a story come together, but I need to see what else is coming up so I can check. So you've got stomach, disgust, low self-esteem, nervous, hopeless, lack of control. Yeah, lack of control. Mine, mom's. So mom feeling out of control with this situation, like meaning she's not in control of it. So she can't really control what is going to happen, what other people say, if people on the other end of this union or guild are going to respect it, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to have you put the back of your hand over your belly button and put the palm over your forehead. Good. And I want you to bring to mind this feeling, mom's lack of control, feeling out of control with, external events that are happening around this situation when you're 14. And go ahead and breathe. Good. Yeah. And when I test into this lack of control, like it is during the time of her whole family, like exiling you guys. So
Oh, wow.
while
That's
that
crazy.
isn't the like focus of us, like getting into this particular memory, that is like happening during this time. So this feeling of like, I'm doing everything I can to protect, to, hold integrity, to make sure that things are fair, and I can't control what's happening outside of me, feels really big.
Wow, yeah.
Okay. Are there any more emotions here? No. Oh, okay. Is this trauma? Yeah, so this is testing as trauma. Phase 1, phase 2. So you're testing in phase 2. So you're 14, picking up this energy of basically this world, is like out of control. And the person that is like protecting you and leading you through life is experiencing like this overwhelming, like big event in her like personal life, but also in her career. And so as a 14-year-old, you are not only like witnessing it and taking it in, and I know you're an only child and it was just you and your mom. And so like, you're like her ride or die support, so taking on some of this energy. So as you are dealing with this like current job situation, what's being triggered is this energy of paralyzed will and feeling lack of like just no control. And
wow.
Does that resonate when I say that? I don't want to, I feel like I'm feeding it to you a little bit right now, just because I know your story so well.
Yeah. No, it definitely resonates so much. And it's just like so hard to know where it goes back to, like this present theme and how it originated or where it originated. But yeah, it definitely makes sense. I just wasn't very aware of this with
When you were
these
14.
jobs. Well, yeah, when I was 14, because I'm sure I didn't know the whole story. Like I'm sure she was going through so much and I just knew some of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't even remember it all. Like I know it was all happening at 14, but I just can't even picture how it was all happening together. But and the work thing was never, I wasn't very like aware of that. She was just doing that.
Doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When did you hear about the work thing from her? When do you remember like learning about it?
I remember learning about it and hearing about it like, when she started it. So it was probably around that time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, just to talk a little bit about trauma. I know you know this, but
Mhm.
essentially, trauma is not the event that occurred necessarily. It's how your system is reacting to the event that is there. So it's like what your brain, body, mind, whatever has like, it's what meaning it has created from it. So Frankie,
Mhm.
Frankie is like getting really active. Hey, go sit, or I'm gonna have to kick you out. He likes to be like on me sometimes when we're doing EPT. Like, come and sit down. Um,
Oh.
anyway, so when something shows up as trauma in the body, the way that we treat it is by understanding what phase of trauma that your system is in. So, phase one is the first phase of trauma. So, it's when the right side of your brain gets super overactive and the left side drops out. So, the right side, like you're like halfway resourced. The right side's trying to make up for what the left side is not able to do. And the energy of that is like looking for a viable solution, like high anxiety, like trying to figure out a way to get out of this energy of trauma, trying to figure out how to protect. Then we move into phase two, and that's where both sides drop out. It's essentially the experience has become so overwhelming that you need to like disassociate from it. And we know this, that it's a protective mechanism. What we need to kind of resolve here is getting it so that you do not need to disassociate when you are trying to get work. Basically, if we're like
Mhm.
tying it back to your current job, and your current job situation, like I know, just to give background, you went to acting school, you act, you have an acting reel, you are an aspiring actress, and to help support you while you are, you know, realizing that dream and that path, you are getting work, you know, supporting,
Mhm.
with branding and content creation. So being able to kind of like unlock this loyalty to mom for what she had to go through to make ends meet when you were 14, so that you have more freedom to um, to show up really to life and to your pursuits from an updated, like, who are you today place, not letting 14-year-old Jimena come and, you know, take over the show. Does that make sense so
Mhm.
far?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. So what I'm going to have you do, since we are working with phase two trauma, I know you're very familiar with this. We are going to have you tapping your whole head. So let me just put myself set up over here. So essentially, like keeping your system online, really like bringing your right and left brain together. We're all here. And as we do that, we're going to, I'm going to have you like releasing this old story and reconciling it. The reason that we want to do all of these things together is to really help your nervous system know that it's safe, that we're not actually we're not, you're not 14. That was then, this is now. um you know, you're not in that same dynamic, so you don't need to be in trauma brain essentially. And this is
Mhm.
our way of supporting the system to really let go. So we've moved these big emotions of paralyzed will and lack of control. We want to like sort of solidify that shift from like where things were to where things are going. So does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, just
Yeah.
making sure. All right. Any questions or anything before we jump into this? Or any thoughts that are
Not for
coming up
me.
for you? Not from you.
Mm. I guess I have the doubt or the question that like the trauma too or whatever, was I carrying that? Like, was that in me or is that my mom's as well?
That's a good question. This is you. So sometimes we'll like have a shared experience and it'll test as both. Essentially, the way that I see it is you're 14, you're witnessing all of this stuff with your mom, you're trying to help in some way. So you're like absorbing you're carrying some of the load for her, and it was
Mm-hmm.
super overwhelming for you and didn't understand it. You probably aren't really like talking with her about it, because
Yeah.
like, it's just sort of happening. And what we do as humans, but especially as children, is like try to support the people in our lives. And when we're really sensitive, we are like absorbing, their energy and taking everything in as like fact, like this is the truth for me. And, when something gets triggered as trauma, we sort of code it that way in our system because we felt like we were alone. So some part of you, even though you're with your mom, felt like you were not able to go to her or not able to work with her, or really just felt like I need to carry this. Like, this is my burden. This is how I, deal with what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to do it on my own. So it really like reinforces the lie that we are separate, like separate from God or the universe or source,
Mm-hmm.
separate from ourselves, separate from, mom, and all of that stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of fucked up.
That's crazy, man.
Trauma's fucked up.
Yeah. It's just interesting because it's not like I ever would think that was a trauma that I was carrying
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
Like, yes,
Yeah.
it was like I remember feeling stressed out because I know money was a thing, was an issue, that my whole family dynamic was like falling apart. We didn't have the support of that family anymore. Yeah, like I remember it was definitely an emotional time, but yeah, you get through it and then you just forget about it and like don't really acknowledge what was left there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So even just hearing you say that, like what you just described, I would think most people would hear your story and be like, holy shit, that's a lot,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And that's what's so interesting about trauma is that when we're experiencing it, because we've gotten through it, because we are built for
Mm-hmm.
resilience, we often don't understand that what we experienced was trauma, even though it is like highly traumatic. And then there are
Yeah,
also other things that are like little t trauma. Like I was like made fun of for having freckles. Like that's little t trauma, right? But then I
right.
had like a whole like complex around my skin, which then
Yeah.
led into like cystic acne and all the other things that built on top of it, whatever. But like it's interesting how we collect these wounds and then we put on these different ways of, viewing the world to protect ourselves from feeling that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's like big or small, it can actually like becomes, it's a way of, again, separating you from like who you really are. And, separating from like your childhood experience, there's so much subtly and overtly, but like a lot of subtle messages just in this story around like just an inherent unworthiness that is just not true. Like you're not worthy of having a
Yeah.
family that like is loving and supportive or like looks at truth, because again,
Mm-hmm.
I know more of that backstory. Um, and in this situation, like, it's like you and your mom against the world kind of thing. And so
Mm-hmm.
really helping to um, know that it doesn't have to be that way anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember the first time explaining to my healer, like literally was explaining my childhood. And she was like very calmly, like, this is trauma. And I was like, what? Like, I was like so confused. And it really like sat with me. I was like, I was like, I don't have trauma. I mean, I had like literally just come from like a physically abusive relationship and did not think I had trauma. So it's like really wild how you like had, have, thanks Amy for being here. It's really wild how you have like just a different lens on like what is actually there. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, let's create what we want to create for you with this. So I'm going to have you go ahead and tap just all over. And I want you to just take a deep breath in your nose and out your mouth. Good. Just like settling into your seat. We're just going to start here. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that my life will always be this way,
that my life will always be this way,
where I'm struggling to find money
where I'm struggling to find money
and a support system,
and a support system
that I need.
that I need.
Because what I learned at 14
Because what I learned at 14
was that my family doesn't even support me.
was that my family doesn't even support me.
And that was really hard,
And that was really hard,
even though I got through it.
even though I got through it.
Yeah. And breathe. Yeah. I forgive my 14-year-old self for believing
I forgive my 14-year-old self for believing
I have to hold my mom's paralyzed will
I have to hold my mom's paralyzed will
and lack of control
and lack of control
when all this shit was going down.
when all this shit was going down.
Yeah. With her work.
With her work.
Yeah. And this time of independence for her.
In this time of independence for her.
Yeah. That was both empowering
That was both empowering
and heartbreaking.
and heartbreaking.
Yeah. And breathe. Yeah. I forgive my 14-year-old self for believing
I forgive my 14-year-old self for believing
that it is just my mom and me
that it is just my mom and me
against the world.
against the world.
And it will always be that way.
And it will always be that way.
Yeah. And breathe. Good. Yeah. I forgive myself now
I forgive myself now
for believing I have to feel paralyzed will.
for believing I have to feel paralyzed will
Yeah. With my current job situation.
with my current job situation.
Yeah. Because of what I learned when I was 14.
Because of what I learned when I was 14.
Yeah. That when you set boundaries with work
That when you set boundaries with work
and you don't just accept what's given to you,
and you just don't accept what's given to you,
that bad things will happen.
bad things will happen.
Yeah. And breathe. Yeah. I forgive myself now
I forgive myself now
for needing to disassociate
for needing to disassociate
when it comes to making money through acting.
when it comes to making money through acting.
Yeah. Because my 14-year-old self
Because my 14-year-old self
believes this is too big of a dream.
believes this is too big of a dream.
Yeah. And if I achieve it,
And if I achieve it,
it will no longer be my mom and I against the world.
it will no longer be my mom and I against the world.
And breathe. Yeah, I forgive myself for the loyalty to my mom.
I forgive myself for the loyalty to my mom.
Yeah. That keeps me playing a smaller game.
That keeps me playing a smaller game.
Yeah. Because if I grow past her,
Because if I grow past her,
then I'll be abandoning her too.
then I'll be abandoning her too.
Yeah. And through everything we went through,
And through everything we went through,
she never abandoned me,
she never abandoned me,
even though it was really hard.
even though it was really hard.
And breathe. Yeah, I forgive my 14-year-old self for believing
I forgive my 14-year-old self for believing
that if I succeed,
that if I succeed,
if I find stability with money,
if I find stability with money,
I will somehow be abandoning my mom.
I will somehow be abandoning my mom.
Yeah, because of how because of how things had to be when I was a kid.
Because of how things had to be when I was a kid.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, I asked my mom to forgive me
I asked my mom to forgive me
for all the ways I've blamed her,
for all the ways I've blamed her,
consciously or subconsciously,
consciously or subconsciously,
for my problems with getting a job.
for my problems with getting a job.
Yeah, that I really want.
That I really want.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that my mom has to be okay.
that my mom has to be okay.
Yeah, that my mom has to be healed
That my mom has to be healed
before I can live my life
before I can live my life
and pursue my dreams
and pursue my dreams
without feeling like I'm going to leave her behind.
without feeling like I'm going to leave her behind.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, I forgive my 14-year-old self for believing
I forgive my 14-year-old self for believing
because of what we were going through with my mom,
because of what we were going through with my mom,
with her work and her family.
with her work and her family.
Yeah, that my problems are not significant.
That my problems are not significant.
Yeah, and that no one is here for me.
And that no one is here for me.
Yeah, I have to do this by myself.
I have to do this by myself.
And breathe. Without this negative pattern
Without this negative pattern
of paralyzed will and lack of control,
of paralyzed will and lack of control,
I can be free,
I can be free
to go after the acting jobs I really want
to go after the acting jobs I really want
and believe that I am worthy of them.
and believe that I am worthy of them.
And breathe. Without this negative pattern
Without this negative pattern
of paralyzed will and lack of control,
of paralyzed will and lack of control,
I let go of needing to disassociate
I let go of needing to disassociate
and get distracted by my mom.
and get distracted by my mom.
Yeah, when I'm getting work.
When I'm getting work.
Yeah, as a way to validate what happened when I was 14.
As a way to validate what happened when I was 14.
And the role I played in our dynamic.
And the role I played in our dynamic.
Yeah, and breathe. I acknowledge the anger in my system.
I acknowledge the anger in my system.
Yeah, that's unprocessed.
That's unprocessed.
Yeah, because of how unfair things were.
Because of how unfair things were.
For my mom and I when I was 14.
For my mom and I when I was 14.
Yeah, give myself permission to grieve and mourn the loss.
I give myself permission to grieve and mourn the loss.
Of trust.
Of trust.
Yeah. When I was 14.
When I was 14.
And breathe. Yeah, I love and accept.
I love and accept.
My mom's story isn't my story.
My mom's story isn't my story.
Yeah, my independence
My independence
um, does not create the same result that her independence created.
does not create the same results that her independence created.
And breathe. Yeah, without this negative pattern
Without this negative pattern
and without this pain and trauma,
and without this pain and trauma,
I am free to let go of the fear,
I am free to let go of the fear
yeah, of abandonment.
of abandonment
Yeah,
when I
yeah, go after what I really want.
go after what I really want.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, without this negative pattern, I love and accept.
Without this negative pattern, I love and accept.
I am worthy
I am worthy
of having more than enough money,
of having more than enough money
yeah, to support my life
to support my life
and what I'm here to do.
and what I'm here to do,
Yeah, just like other people I see,
just like other people I see.
yeah, who are living that way.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, who are living that way and that truth.
Who are living that way and that truth.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, what's coming up for you?
Well, first of all, every statement you've said has been so like just touched exactly what I needed.
Good.
And yeah, it's like the loyalty to my mom is just like a recurring thing, and definitely a reason why I've kept like playing small and not letting all the things I want in my life, like not letting them in. So yeah, it's wild what EPT does, because I feel so like free already. Like I feel so, yeah, just like a weight off my shoulders, and yeah, just so ready for what can come after this. Yeah.
Say something around that. Yeah. So, what I know to be true, I'll have you say it
Do I
again. Yeah.
What I know to be true.
Yeah. Um, I'm really good
I'm really good
at being in the energy of possibility.
of being in the energy of possibility.
Yeah. I'm really good
I'm really good
at seeing and witnessing the miracles in my life.
at seeing and witnessing the miracles in my life.
I'm really good at alignment.
I'm really good at alignment.
Yeah. I've just been a little afraid,
I've just been a little afraid
yeah, of hurting my mom
of hurting my mom,
because she did what she could do for me.
because she did what she could do for me.
And I am so grateful.
And I am so grateful.
And I love her so much.
And I love her so much.
And I don't want to do anything to hurt her.
And I don't want to do anything to hurt her.
Yeah. I love and accept.
I love and accept.
Yeah. Letting my 14-year-old rest.
Letting my 14-year-old self rest.
Yeah. In the knowing
In the knowing
that when I rise, she rises with me.
that when I rise, she rises with me.
that my success is her success.
that my success is her success.
Yeah, and I can connect with her through unconditional love.
And I can connect to her through unconditional love.
Rather than paralyzed will.
Rather than paralyzed will.
And lack of control.
And lack of control.
Being afraid of abandonment.
Being afraid of abandonment.
Yeah. Breathe. I give my mom permission.
I give my mom permission.
To grieve and mourn her loss.
To grieve and mourn her loss.
Yeah. When she was creating independence.
When she was creating independence.
Yeah. And empowerment for herself.
And empowerment for herself.
Yeah. And all this shit went down.
And all this shit went down.
Yeah. And breathe. Yeah. Without this pattern.
Without this pattern.
I increase my level of acceptance.
I increase my level of acceptance.
To the belief.
To the belief.
That I will always have.
That I will always have.
More than enough.
More than enough.
Support.
Support.
And love.
And love.
And money.
And money.
Than I need.
Than I need.
Because that's what I desire.
Because that's what I desire.
Yeah. And breathe. Yeah, I say yes to letting go.
I say yes to letting go.
Of any and all insecurity.
Of any and all insecurity.
Yeah. Around confidently putting myself out there.
Around confidently putting myself out there.
Yeah. In the career of my dreams.
In the career of my dreams.
Yeah. And I can have gratitude for my mom.
And I can have gratitude for my mom.
Yeah, for paving this way for me.
For paving this way for me.
It's actually a disservice to her.
It's actually a disservice to her.
Yeah, for me to hold on to the loyalty.
For me to hold on to the loyalty.
Yeah, and breathe. And so it is.
And so it is.
How you doing, girl?
Yeah. I feel great. I feel very grateful. And I also want to rewatch this recording and write down all these statements, because I think, like, yeah, I want to let this sink deeper, because I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. And just knowing that, like, okay, when you're feeling, because I know, like, you can go out for things and apply for things, or, meet with these certain people or whatever. And so anytime you're feeling that, like, squeeze before you go do it, or anything that makes you kind of like just say, oh no, that's probably not for me. Like, just question that and just be like, okay, am I playing small here? Like, I don't need to play small. Good to see you, Chloe. I'm glad you joined. So yeah. And yeah, you can watch the recording. I can send you the session notes too if you want them. I know that you like to look
always.
at them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me test and see where you are. And Emily, if you still want to hang on, we can do a quickie if you want. Because I have some space. Let's see, quickie. I like calling it that. All right, so I want you to bring to mind, just going back to that energy of money and your ability to have more than what you need, your ability, your sense of worthiness for that experience to happen for you too in this life. Good. All right. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Well, your distress dropped from a 10 to a 1, so I'm very pleased about that. And no elation. Stage of healing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're in 7, girl. Damn. All right. Go ahead and say, I'm okay to pay attention.
I'm okay to pay attention.
I'm okay to tell the truth.
I'm okay to tell the truth.
I'm okay to let go.
I'm okay to let go.
Good, good, good. And I know we're gonna look at your constellation at some point soon too, family constellation. I think that will play into this a little bit with like the exclusion energy of like your family, like basically like kicking you guys out. It's like a really big thing. But with that, knowing the reminders I always tell myself are like, I am healing and receiving at the same time. Like I don't have to be, it is a lie that we have to be all the way healed to be able to receive. You know, you can be learning and growing and receiving all at the same time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a good reminder.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being willing.
Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone that's here.
Bye, Julie.
Bye, Julie.
Emily, you still want to go?
Heck yeah, I'm down for a quickie if you are.
You want a quickie? I love it. I was like, I'm like, I just feel like once I get going, I just don't want to stop. So you know that.
I'm here for it.
I'm like, who's next?
I love it. You're in a role.
Yeah, and that was like really powerful what you guys just did. Thank you for being so open.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And Emily, I feel like this is and Jimena, you obviously feel free to like, if you need to pop off and like, you can. I mean, don't feel like you have to stay.
Thank you.
And yeah, I don't remember. I was just going to say Emily, but I feel pumped. Let's do it.
Yes. Also, we're growing. I volunteered to do this like in front of all.
That's what I was going to say. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to say that.
You could have. I was ready for it.
I know. I was like, this is huge. Like I was like, oh, wait, Emily's hand is up. Oh my God. That's a big deal.
That's crazy.
So
I'm going to turn off my camera, but I will be here.
Okay. Thanks for being here. All right. Yeah, girl, what do you want? What do you want to do?
Honestly, okay. What I love these two because I keep learning more and more about EPT through you, obviously. In your last session, I didn't even know that it was like we could just like clear what was there. Like I remember, I forget her name, but she's so cool.
Oh, Kelly.
Yeah,
that was just like, I just want to do what's here.
So I'm kind of down for that today, if that sounds good.
That's totally fine. I like that too. When I learned as a facilitator that I could work that way, I was like, oh,
nice.
Like, let's, for the people who love healing, let's do that. Right. And I like see it, and I don't know, I'm not going to say that this is right or wrong because whatever, but it's what is right or wrong. But I really see it. I mean, for me, this practice is such like a maintenance thing at this point for me, except for when, big life events happen that you need extra support around, of course. But yeah, like just that, what I was saying at the beginning of just like I just feel like it brings me back home, like that. And it's like, oh, I remember who I am. Okay, we got this, we got this thing, life. And
I always feel like Jimena was saying, I always feel freer after two. And that's like, to me, it's such a value driver. So it feels great.
And it's wild because like, I don't know. Yeah, like you don't know what's going to help you to feel free, but it's like releasing this stuff, like you're actually releasing it. You're not just like pretending or saying like, I forgive just because like you're supposed to. It's like your system has like been worked to be ready for that stage.
Yeah.
You know, even if the mind hasn't like fully caught up, it's like it's on board, and that,
Mhm.
yeah, just moving us through. So why don't we, yeah, I'm gonna shake my hands really quick just to like clear. Oh, yeah. And I'm gonna have you put your hands on either side of your head like this. Do this with magnets, and feet on the ground. And let's do 6 deep breaths in your nose and out your mouth. And if we're tracking, we have 3 more. Whew. When you feel ready, you can release your hands. Yay. All right. Go ahead and say, my name is Emily.
My name is Emily.
Okay. My name is Beth.
My name is Beth.
Cool. We in. All right. Do you want to do a body scan? It's so interesting. I've been testing that lately when people say, so I've never done that with you, but
Mhm.
it is a way of going in by like just balancing out the organs.
Mhm.
But I get a no for that. Like what wants to clear is like testing. So I like it. All right. Yeah. All right. Shimmy, 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 unique. No, we're just going to clear whatever emotions want to be cleared. All right. Distress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Any elation? No. 1, 2, 3. You're in the stage of healing, bargaining. One of my faves. All right. Go ahead and say, I'm okay to show up.
I'm okay to show up.
I'm okay to pay attention.
I'm okay to pay attention.
I'm okay to tell the truth.
I'm okay to tell the truth.
I'm okay to let go.
I'm okay to let go.
You're just not telling the truth. So let's get you. Let's get you to stop lying. No, I'm just kidding. For anyone who may be watching this later, telling the truth is, for me, indicates that there is a truth inside that you are living from that is actually not your authentic truth. So you're not showing up as your true self. On a spiritual level, it's kind of like a lack of trust with you and your higher source. So we want to like reconnect that trust. All right, and there's 2 issues. So I'm gonna have you bring up the first issue. Good. Current, yes. Who, yes. Self, no. Friend, family, parents, mom. Got mama drama today. Everybody and their mom. Yeah, we're in your right kidney. Got kidneys today. All right. Timid. My emotion, mom's emotion. Mom's feeling timid. What's she feeling timid about?
Like just currently or a different time?
Like generally the present time versus like taking you back at some point.
She just told me like 2 days ago she wants to come visit me again. So she was here in November,
Mhm.
which I thought would be sufficient for a little bit. But I forgot she was supposed to come out at a different time to visit me last year, and things happened. So she has this credit, and she has to use this credit before April. She's
Oh,
choosing to use the credit to like come visit me again. And sometimes we have just had like kind of a meshing boundary. Not sometimes, most of my life, we've had that like
Mhm.
undercurrent between us. And she did ask me for like, it's interesting. She asked me for the dates of like when she could come visit me in order to plan a trip that she actually really wants to take to Florida to go visit friends. Like she had to know when she could come visit me before she could actually when I thought it could have kind of been opposite, like go do the thing you really want to
Mhm.
do and then come like visit me whenever.
Mhm.
But I actually sent her, sometimes I'm not like super responsive, but I sent those to her right away. So I didn't feel like she couldn't, her visit here wasn't something that she could be like, oh, I still don't have the dates from the trip that I really want to take. You know,
Mm,
like I'm trying to get
yeah.
out of the way of that as much as I can.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that tests, but it's like so um hello cat.
She would really like to be a part of this. She lived with my mother for a while as well, so she knows what's
She's
up.
like, we are here. Wait, what's her name again?
Stella.
Okay, Stella. Hi, Stella. Um, yeah. So my read on this, based on what you're sharing, is almost like her not being able to trust herself with like
Mm.
what, like, yeah, like prioritizing. It's
With
like
like,
she's like tiptoeing around everything.
yeah, and with what she actually wants to do. And I don't doubt
Yeah.
that like she doesn't want to come visit me and now Stella at some point again, but I think what she actually wants to do is go to a really warm place, be in the sun. My mom lives in Michigan.
Mhm.
And like probably visit some friends that she hasn't seen in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is her flight credit just to you, or could it be
No,
anywhere?
could be anywhere. She's
Yeah,
choosing to
so
use
she's
it
like
back
doing
here
what she's
again.
supposed to do, what
Uh-huh.
she feels like she's supposed to do. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Interesting, Mom. Should we show me? Is there an earlier time we need to go back to? Yes. All right. This life, conception to birth, birth to 1, 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 10, 15, 15 to 20, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Age 20. So you're age 20. Let's see what this is about. This is with the who. It's with you. Is it mine? Mom. Okay. You're 20. Mom is feeling timid with you. So what was your dynamic like when you're 20? Why
20
would you?
was the first time I went to study abroad, like left the country. And that really, I mean, I've now lived in 5 countries since that first kind of opening of the world to me. And I was like the first person to have a passport in my family. So no one had even like, aside from going to Canada, no one had ever mostly largely like left Michigan for large periods of time.
Right.
And then I go. And in that time too, actually, she while I was gone, she came to visit me. So she got a passport, she booked a trip. Not only did she like I was studying abroad in Italy. She came to Italy for a few days, but what we actually, our big thing, we took like a 10-day trip to Egypt together too.
Whoa.
Yeah, for someone who like, and I give her so much credit for someone who like never traveled, and she's like at that time, like I guess in her 50s, doing that for the first time and like big
Wow.
stuff. Yeah.
You like catalyze her.
Mhm.
Yeah. No wonder she's nervous with you. What's she gonna do next?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. All that test. This is so sweet. Oh, I really like that. I'm really liking this energy.
Yeah.
Oh, Mom. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, where did we say this was? Right kidney. We're gonna test your right kidney. Yeah, you're gonna put the back of your hand over your right kidney, lower back, and then palm over your forehead.
Okay.
And I just want you to bring to mind you being 20 or leaving the country for the first time, and your mom is feeling a little like with you
Mhm.
about doing that, and what that means to her and what that means for your life and the future, and all those things are coming up. So, yeah, when you're ready, go ahead and breathe 3 deep breaths in your nose and out your mouth. Feel ready. Can you release your hands? Hmm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Are there any more emotions there? No. Should we move on to the second issue? Yes. So we're going to go to the second issue. So that was top line. And that's the way I perceive it. Let's see. Second issue. Good. Current. Yes. Who? What? So totally separate issue. Could have something to do with mom, but we are just going to like close that book, open up the second one. What? Money. Money is a thing today. Cash, finances, job, current job. Look at this. This is why the two of you are doing this today. I love it. Okay. Heart. Austin, vulnerable, abandoned, deserted, insecurity. Mine. Okay. Your sense of insecurity with your current job. So what comes up there?
Oh, now I'm supposed to go. Got it. Well, what doesn't come up, Beth? What doesn't come? No. I am trying to grow my spiritual small business, which I've had it for over 2 years, and I've always treated it as a part-time thing, partly because I had a 9-to-5 job, other stuff in my life. And now I'm really at the point where I am choosing to like step into this work more. And what I hope is to grow it. And I kind of don't know if that's what's going to happen, you know? Like I'm choosing to show up and choosing to commit and not knowing what's going to happen. And I think I really related with what Jimena said before, because for the first time, I don't have like a security job under me. And I'm choosing that right now. And that also, it makes me a little nervous. And I guess I just I really do want to give this like my best shot. And I guess I just don't always know what that's going to look like too. And that's scary.
Yeah.
Feels scary.
Yeah. Boy, do I know.
Yeah, I'm just going to move to where my laptop charger is too. So,
Okay. Yeah. We are going to go back a little earlier. So I'm going to get that conception of birth, birth to 1, 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we're going to go back to you being 12. And what's testing is your dad's insecurity with you.
oh, interesting.
Yeah. So what were you doing at 12 that made him feel insecure? That could have made him feel insecure with you?
Okay. The thing that comes to mind, it's interesting because I was feeling dad stuff come up around this too before. But at that age, I think what was coming up was that it was one of the first times I felt like my dad started to have a preference for and was choosing my brother over me. Like literally, and this is like the little T trauma, because it doesn't, like, I feel like I'm already trying to diminish it as I tell you the story. Like, it's not that big of a deal, but it was a big deal. Like in the same week, I asked him at the beginning of the week to be like my assistant soccer coach on my soccer team.
Yeah.
And he said no. And 2 days later, he signed up to be my brother's like Boy Scout troop leader. Yeah.
Why?
And maybe it wasn't that, it felt like, I don't know if maybe he just was like, didn't know how to coach
I
soccer.
don't know how to coach
You know
girls
what I mean?
soccer. Yeah.
But I was like, none of those dads do. Kind of was my take. And he was always so encouraging and so supportive. I did soccer for so many years and he was at every game. And I just thought like, oh, this could be something like maybe we do together and spend more time together and I thought it was actually going to be like an easy yes. And he told me no. And then to have like him like sign up for my brother's extracurricular activity in the same week, I was like, oh, is it just because you like him better than me? Or you want to spend time with him instead of me? And that kind of started I'm sure like things didn't get better. Like as a teenager, I had a lot of anger with my dad and I would literally yell things at him like, you don't give a shit about me. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. What tests is like him feeling like he can't be what you want him to be, and like his own insecurity that like I can't measure up to like what I need to be for her. But I know how to be this, and this is what good dads do. So I'm gonna go like do that.
He was a Boy Scout till he was like 18. So actually he truly did know how to do that. And I'm sure it was probably really exciting that my brother was showing interest in that. But he didn't like sit me down and tell me like, I don't actually know how to do what you're asking me to do. And that's why I can't do it. Or that's why I feel more comfortable saying yes to your brother and not yes to you. You know, like he didn't have that like languaging or communication with me.
Wow. You know, what's wild is you've, with both of your parents, scared them by being you know, like you've like brought them out of a comfort zone just by being this like powerful woman with dreams and goals and aspirations, you know, that they likely were not expecting to come from them. You know, it's like, what? Yeah. Okay. Ooh, let's move dad's insecurity with you when you're 12. Love this. All right. All right, we're in the heart. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna do palm over the heart space, palm over the forehead. All right, good. And bring to mind being 12 and feeling dad's insecurity with you when he declined being your soccer coach. Yeah, good. Go ahead and breathe. One more. Oh, that was a big one. When you're ready, you can release, but take your time. Oh. Good. All right, are there any more emotions around this? No. And it's not testing as trauma, even though you said this was like little t. It's just not testing as trauma right now. So we will trust that. I'm like, no, which trauma is it? Tell me. Every session has trauma. But that is my ego. Sorry, let me get there we go. Yeah, but yeah. So it's interesting because on both ends, there's with both parents, this like sense of, you crafting this like unique way of living is just really outside of them and their understanding and capacity for life. And so there is this sense of like truly feeling alone, you know, in this leap. And we know, I know that you lost your dad a couple of years ago, so he's not actually here with us physically. And so then just like adding another layer of feeling like, the insecurity and like timidity that kind of come with that. Very real stuff. Good. So I'm going to have you support yourself however you'd like. So you can do what I do. I love rubbing this high heart space. It's a fear release point. So it allows us to move and digest emotions as we're doing this process. Another thing that people will do is just take their hands and like kind of support their kidneys. Or if you're like leaning against something. If we were in person, I would be holding you. but we're not. But I'm here, still here. It's really fun to do EPT with people that I've done it with for a long time because there's just like a lot of comfort there. Yeah. Okay, so I just want you to take a deep breath in your nose and out your mouth. I'm just anchoring in to where you are right now. And we're just setting the intention to open up a clearer path for you in this moment around really just like being in trust with the present and being in trust with the spark of desire and the spark of inspiration that you're following now that you've always had. You had this when you were 12, when you were playing soccer and you wanted your dad to be your coach. You had this when you decided to leave the country for the first time and be the first in your family to like do these things. Like this is something that's in you. And you have done it before many times, even though right now it feels very different. So just remembering that. Okay. So yeah, I, Emily, forgive myself for believing.
I, Emily, forgive myself for believing
Yeah, that I have to feel insecurity.
that I have to feel insecurity
Yeah, because I'm doing what the world is telling me is insecure.
because I'm doing what the world is telling me is insecure.
Yeah, I'm taking a leap
I'm taking a leap
on myself and my desires,
on myself and my desires,
and I'm choosing to commit.
and I'm choosing to commit
Yeah, without a security.
without a security.
Yeah, I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that I've never done this before
that I've never done this before
successfully
successfully
when I really have.
when I really have.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, I love and accept
I love and accept
because I really want to give this my best shot.
because I really want to give this my best shot.
I have to be extra careful
I have to be extra careful
not to fuck it up.
not to fuck it up.
Yeah, so all of my fears
So all of my fears
relating to security
relating to security
and insecurity
and insecurity
are popping up.
are popping up.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that because of that one time
that because of that one time
when I was 12
when I was 12
and I asked for something I wanted
and I asked for something I wanted
and I didn't get it.
and I didn't get it,
Yeah, that means something
that means something
about what I'm doing now
about what I'm doing now
and what I'm asking the universe to give me.
and what I'm asking the universe to give me.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, I forgive my 12-year-old self for believing
I forgive my 12-year-old self for believing
that because my dad feels insecure with me
that because my dad feels insecure with me
and he doesn't know how to talk about it,
and he doesn't know how to talk about it,
there must be something wrong with me.
there must be something wrong with me
Yeah, that would make him not want to be my coach.
that would make him not want to be my coach
Yeah, and choose my brother instead.
and choose my brother instead.
Yeah, and breathe. Good. I forgive my dad
I forgive my dad
when I'm 12
when I'm 12
and he's choosing my brother over me
and he's choosing my brother over me
because he's too insecure
because he's too insecure
to do something he doesn't know how to do.
to do something he doesn't know how to do.
I understand that feeling
I understand that feeling
and I can forgive him.
and I can forgive him.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, I forgive my brother
I forgive my brother
for getting all the security
for getting all the security
and leaving me with none
and leaving me with none
when I was 12.
when I was 12.
And breathe. Yeah, I forgive my 12-year-old self for believing
I forgive my 12-year-old self for believing
that it was stupid of me to ask my dad
That it was stupid of me to ask my dad.
That it wasn't smart for me to want what I wanted.
That it wasn't smart for me to want what I wanted.
Yeah. When now I know
When now I know
that isn't true.
that isn't true.
Yeah. And breathe. Yeah. I forgive my dad
I forgive my dad
for not being able to be
for not being able to be
what I wanted and needed him to be.
what I wanted and needed him to be.
Yeah. And not being able to navigate it with me.
And not being able to navigate it with me.
Yeah. When my desires made him uncomfortable.
And my desires made him uncomfortable.
Yeah. And breathe. Yeah. I forgive my 12-year-old self
I forgive my 12-year-old self
for trying to protect me now
for trying to protect me now
and reminding me of these fears
and reminding me of these fears
and pain
and pain
that's real
that's real
that I experienced.
that I experienced.
Yeah. When I followed my heart
And I followed my heart
like I'm doing now.
like I'm doing now.
Yeah. And breathe. Yeah. I love and accept
I love and accept
because my parents feel uncomfortable.
because my parents feel uncomfortable
Yeah. About me
about me
and my essence
and my essence
and who I be.
and who I be.
Yeah. Um, it's not mine to take on.
It's not mine to take on.
Yeah. I give them permission
I give them permission
to find the tools.
to find the tools
Yeah. To reconcile their own pain
to reconcile their own pain
and fear.
and fear
Yeah. That is triggered
that's triggered
when I am being myself.
when I'm being myself.
Yeah. And breathe. Yeah. With this, I forgive the world
With this, I forgive the world
for telling me the same things
for telling me the same things
that I am not safe
that I am not safe
when I follow my desires
when I follow my desires
and try to create something new
and try to create something new
that wasn't prescribed.
that wasn't prescribed.
Yeah. And breathe. Yeah. Even though I feel fear,
Even though I feel fear,
I know what is true for me
I know what's true for me,
and I'm proud
and I'm proud
every day that I listen to that truth
every day that I listen to that truth
and choose to step into this work more
and choose to step into this work more,
with or without the secure job.
with or without the secure job.
Yeah. I give myself permission
I give myself permission
to define security.
to define security
Yeah. As my connection to source.
as my connection to source,
Yeah. Not anybody else's definition.
not anyone else's definition.
Yeah. And breathe. Yeah. Without this negative pattern
Without this negative pattern
of feeling bad
of feeling bad
for making my parents uncomfortable,
for making my parents uncomfortable.
I no longer need my mom's timidity
I no longer need my mom's timidity
and her tiptoeing
and her tiptoeing
around what she actually wants to do.
around what she actually wants to do,
Yeah, to validate what I've experienced.
to validate what I've experienced,
Yeah, both when I was 20 and 12
both when I was 20 and 12,
and making my parents uncomfortable.
and making my parents uncomfortable.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, without this negative pattern
without this negative pattern
of insecurity and timidity.
of insecurity and timidity.
I open up massive space.
I open up massive space
Yeah. To see all of the beauty and joy
to see all of the beauty and joy
and inspiration
and inspiration
I've provided my parents
I've provided my parents
simply by being me
simply by being me
and showing them
and showing them
I can feel safe, secure, and complete,
I can feel safe, secure, and complete,
trusting what's in my heart,
trusting what's in my heart,
even when they're afraid.
even when they're afraid.
Yeah. Without my mom's timidity,
Without my mom's timidity,
I have faith.
I have faith
Yeah. That I am doing what I'm here to do.
that I'm doing what I'm here to do.
And breathe. Yeah, I love and accept letting go
I love and accept letting go
of bargaining with my parents,
of bargaining with my parents
yeah, and their comfort zone,
and their comfort zone
um, and my truth.
and my truth.
Yeah, and breathe. I say yes.
I say yes.
Mm. Yeah, to feeling at peace.
To feeling at peace.
Every day I make this choice.
Every day I make this choice
Yeah, to grow my spiritual business.
to grow my spiritual business,
Yeah, knowing that I will know
knowing that I will know
what needs to happen next,
what needs to happen next,
just like I've always known.
just like I've always known.
Yeah, it's time to leave the country.
It's time to leave the country.
It's time to come back.
It's time to come back.
Time to study this.
Time to study this.
It's time to do the Akashic Records.
It's time to do the Akashic Records.
It's now time to read for other people.
It's now time to read for other people.
I love and accept,
I love and accept,
even though my mom doesn't trust herself.
even though my mom doesn't trust herself.
Yeah, I can trust myself.
I can trust myself.
Yeah, and breathe. Yeah, and so it is.
And so it is.
Mm. How are you feeling?
I feel so just like so much lighter and so much more like rooted in my power. I feel like in that
Yeah.
last affirmation, I could feel how like my trust for myself is now so much bigger than my mom's fear of not being able to trust herself.
Yeah, and it's like they're all there. Like fears all, I believe the fear will always be there because we're
Yeah.
human.
Yeah.
Some people don't teach that way, but like it's like a difference between like letting that be the focus and then also shoo, and then being like, oh, what else is here? Like
Mhm.
Katie always talks about it, like you're looking very like this, and she's like, when you open it up, you still see what's like on the periphery, but it's like really soft, having that like soft focus and like broader, lens of everything. Just like
Yeah.
allows that like spaciousness and opening and really this like remembering of like who the fuck you are. Like
Yeah.
you are no joke, like always have been that activator for your family. And you get to continue doing that, and it's like served you really well before, it's serving you well now. But that part of you that was afraid is like, but remember
Mhm.
what happened when I like put my heart on the line and my dad like said no, like that sucked.
Yeah.
And I made that mean everything about me and everything about our relationship, because that's what you do when you're 12,
Yeah.
it just is. And he didn't have the tools to talk you through it, and he didn't have the tools to bring it up. And
And
so
he's
great.
not here anymore for me to bring it up.
You
Like
can't be like, yo,
that's
remember that? That was
yeah,
fucking terrible. Like,
exactly. And
really
like, let me
wanted
hear
you to
your
do
side
it.
as like an adult, because
Right.
even as like you were reading into that, I was like, oh my God, I never considered that there was anything else, right?
Yeah.
Because I was 12.
Right.
And like,
Yeah.
as you were saying that, I was like, of course, like that makes so much sense, like,
Yeah.
of course it wasn't personally about like,
It was
you
about
know,
him. It was like, oh my God, she wants me. Like, it really felt like a time for me to like do the thing that I've been afraid that I have to do this whole time and I'm gonna fail. I can't do
yeah,
it,
yeah,
and like in a weird way, you have been like leading up to this point where it is time for you to do the thing that you are meant to do.
yeah,
You're in one of those like pivot moments, of
yes, exactly.
choosing to step into it through that discomfort. And yeah, and you're doing it, and you're like challenging that the narrative that you shared with
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
So yeah, really, really beautiful.
Mm.
That was such an honor to walk through. Let me test and see where you are before I forget to do that because I get too excited. Okay, shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. This didn't even feel like you were live, right? Because it was like chill.
I know.
I'm like, you were great. And you even cried a little bit. Like you
I
killed it.
did.
You
As
can cry in
always,
front of
as per
people.
usual.
It's for you. Yeah. All right. All right.
Thanks,
The
Jimena.
stress. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Yeah, you dropped the stress to a 1, which I love to see. Go ahead and say, I'm okay to tell the truth.
I'm okay to tell the truth.
Good, you're strong there. And then stage of healing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're just killing it. Killing it today. Ooh, burping.
Moving it.
Moving all the energy. 2 stage 7s. I'm done for the day. I'm not doing anything else. Oh, thanks for being here. Is there
Thank
anything else that's like, yeah, that pops up for you? It's coming that you want to share? Or like, I don't know.
The only other thing that did, and this like also made, and it was coming through as you had me doing the affirmations about my mom, was that I recently like I sent an email to my community saying like, hey, I'm gonna do this and I don't know how it's gonna go and I'm scared and I'm still gonna do it.
Yeah.
And my mom is like one of those people who receives my emails because she really likes to, and she brought it up the other day just in the quickest way, but she's like, I saw your email and that was exciting, but like then didn't say anything else. And I realized that like her, like she's like again, like, feeling that whatever trigger by me stepping out again in big ways.
Yeah.
And I realized that like, cool, I don't have to hold it.
Right.
Like when you were
Yeah.
saying that, like I give them back the power to like find their own tools. And
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And it's hard, like you were saying, the enmeshment, and like I think everyone has some level of codependency. I've never met somebody who doesn't.
Yeah.
But like that desire to make the people that brought us into this world more comfortable with who we are can just like be so even with what we were talking about in Jimena's session, like it's just so it's such a like a subtle undercurrent that can like easily snap us out of like the the trust
Yeah.
of like where we're going and all that jazz. And it's like a constant practice to like see it and keep moving through it and see it
Yeah.
and love them. And yeah, I think it's also interesting because sometimes we'll just like create the story that we'll like allow ourselves to fall into buckets of stories that have been created by like the media. Like I
Mhm.
totally am guilty of being like, well, I'm the black sheep of the family. And so no one understands me and they're never going to understand me. So
Mhm.
I just do the thing, like, even though like it's like a in rebellion, from
Mhm.
like, but like in reality, I think that my family actually really does support me. I just
Mm.
like don't allow myself to receive it.
Yeah.
Um, that's like my own 12-year-old protection or whatever that is like,
Right.
keeping that at bay because they have a lot of fear. And yeah, we got to do what we got to do. But I'm glad that we were able to like kind of recalibrate kind of again, just like coming back to what is actually true, and
Exactly. And I
letting
feel
you,
like, and I just feel like so much more connected to myself again, like letting
yeah,
that be the bigger force in my life than anyone else's like fears or triggers or like timidity
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
insecurity.
And maybe your mom will text you and be like, I actually really want to do this trip instead. you know? So first of all, if anything like that happens, you better tell us. Because that's like also just like a fun byproduct of doing this work, is that when you move energy around a certain person, sometimes they will show up, you end up showing up energetically differently to them. So then they also kind of respond in kind. And when you're healing for you, you're healing for them too. It's really
Yeah, it's so
beautiful.
true. And it's beautiful because I feel like you said that in during Jimena's session too. You know, like that healing is mutual.
So mutual. I'm glad I said that because I don't remember saying that. So I'm glad that
It
you
was
picked that
beautiful.
up.
It was a beautiful moment.
It is mutual.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, beauties. I feel like this isn't even like a live thing because it's so intimate, and I really appreciate you showing up today and spending your time and letting me play EPT with you.
Thank you for this offering. It meant a lot.
Yeah, good. All right. Well, have a beautiful day. Sending so much love. My heart is like radiating. This was such a good way to spend Valentine's Day for me. And we'll be in touch, I'm sure.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye.
Bye.